Guys, hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna set up a little bit differently right here. Um, Maybe hopefully the lighting will be better and you guys will be able to see. What's happening? Today is day two in my trip to Colombia, and I am here, and I'm already learning a lot about the Black experience in South America. A lot of you may not know, you should know, but you should know that most of the slaves, most of the African slaves actually were brought to South America, not North America. I think the U.S. got maybe 300,000 or 400,000. In South America and Brazil, places like that, they got millions of black slaves. So if you really want to talk about the struggle, the global struggle against white supremacy, the global struggle for black liberation, the global struggle for black power, it's got to be a global thing, man. Most of your allies don't live in the United States. Most of the allies are not, it's not just that Negro from Detroit who loves white people. It's like your allies are people around the world who are happy when African Americans come to visit because they're like, cool, like we can unite, we can work together. And I'm gonna just tell you this, I'm going to different places, man. I'm feeling love in ways that a lot of times you don't even get at home because the thing about white supremacy, and I talked about this on this channel, is that a lot of white supremacists are actually black people. Many white supremacists are black. You think white supremacists have to be white, but white supremacy usually only works if both people agree to it. Like I can think that I'm superior to you, but if you ain't down for the program, then that supremacist system isn't going to work. So ultimately, I'm gonna tell you the reason I like traveling the world is because I'm starting to learn and understand just how limited our thinking is. Because we think that the whole world ends with the United States and Donald Trump and whatever the U.S. government's doing, and it's much bigger than that. You're in a global power struggle, not local. And your power base is actually Africa. That's where your people are at. Just like a Chinese person, their power base is in China. A Mexican person, their power base is in Mexico. Your power base is actually firmly in Africa. Doesn't mean that you don't have rights and claims to the United States, but the U.S. is kind of a slippery slope to plant your flag entirely because anything they give you, they can take it away. So anyway, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button, so let me just break something down for you real quick. You guys know on drboycetv.com, this is the home for intelligent black people. This is not a place where we're going to give you first grader analysis. We're not going to tell you that 2 plus 2 is 4. We want to tell you that 8 times 8 is 64, and then we take 64 and you raise to the third power and you get something else, right? We really go deep. We like to actually we play chess, not checkers. We go to the fourth level, not to the second level. So the basic analysis of this thing, how many of you, give me a yes or no if you saw or heard about the video where the little white girl gets the black doll and she's like screaming, she's like, ah, ah, ah. Anybody else see that video? Give me a yes or no if you saw that video, if you heard about that video. And a lot of people were talking about it, so I wanted to address it and maybe give you some perspective, not so much to the point where I believe that I'm right. I know that I'm not always right about everything, but I can give you a point of view. And so you're not going to get from me what you're going to hear everywhere else. So the basic perspective that you're getting from mainstream media is typically, let me see here. Okay, contact number. Okay, Dion, for your order, email support at theblackbusinessschool.com, support at theblackbusinessschool.com. And I'm going to get David up about making sure that this contact information will be put in platforms. So thank you for telling me. Email support at theblackbusinessschool.com. Send them exactly that message, and they will take care of you. And I'm actually going to reach out to my person. So thank you for letting me know. But anyway, so here's the deal. So basically, this little white girl screaming and hollering because she got a black baby doll and she didn't want the black baby doll, she wanted something else. Now, maybe there's something more going on. Maybe she was mad because she got a doll. Maybe she actually wanted, I don't know, a pair of ice skates or something. Or maybe she was mad because the doll was black, right? And which is fine. I mean, that's what happens. It is what it is. But here's the thing that I thought about when I saw this. I saw a headline. I think it was from one of the outlets. I can't remember which one, but it was like, racism. This shows you how bad racism is. Racism is everywhere. It's taught early. Look at this little white girl cry when she gets the black baby doll. Okay, cool. Granted, I don't disagree with you that white people are going to continue to act white. But what I will kind of lay out to you is this. I'm going to lay out to you this idea. It's gonna probably be tough for some. If you're a Negro naysayer, this statement will probably make you throw up. If you are a white supremacist, which remember I told you many black people are white supremacists, and this is going to challenge your thinking. But here's the deal. You all are too obsessed with what white people think about you and not obsessed enough with how you think about yourselves. You are too easily triggered by this idea, this very basic idea, actually, that white people like you, your black ass, less than they like themselves. You can't get over the fucking fact that a white man will never love a black man as much as he loves another white man. You will never be able to absorb this idea that your black ass ain't white and never will be. They are never going to love you. And you know what? And here's what's going to really make you mad is I don't even give a shit. I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to sit here on this platform and waste the time of all the intelligent people in the room by sitting around and complaining about the fact that white people don't like me enough. Maybe that means I need an injection of self-esteem. Cat Williams called it right. Cat Williams said it's called self-esteem. It ain't white people esteem. It's not oppressor esteem. It's not esteem you get from others. Self-esteem means esteem you get from yourself. So if you're getting self-esteem from yourself, then you don't need other people to give you your esteem. You don't need other people to validate you. You don't need nobody to tell you that they like you. You don't need that. It's basic. Think about it. Think about it. How do pimps pick up hoes? How do pimps get little girls on the street to go out and run tricks and act like Lizzo, wear their ass out and and go do Cardi B's for money and whatever, right? Like how do pimps operate? Do pimps look for young ladies that have high self-esteem or low self-esteem? Answer the question for me. Do pimps look for girls with high self-esteem, or do they check for women with low self-esteem? Give me answer that question for me if you can. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes or no if you can see, if you can hear. Pimps go for girls with high self-esteem or low self-esteem? Do pimps look for girls that are validated by their fathers, or do they look for girls who are not validated by their fathers? Why now think about this. Now, why would a pimp who's trying to control her mind and trying to manipulate this little girl, why would a pimp look for the girl with low self-esteem who hasn't been validated by her dad? Why? Well, because she has a void and she's looking for anybody to fill it. And he's like, girl, I'll fill all your voids. Any hole you got in your mind, your body, or your soul, I will put something in that hole tomorrow. And I will find other men who will put something in that hole that exists in your mind, your body, and your soul. We'll fill all the holes because somebody else did not fill you up before you got here. Your self-esteem is low because you went through life thinking you were ugly because nobody ever told you that you're pretty. Well, I got a whole line of men that'll give you $50 and tell you that you're the most beautiful woman in the world as long as you get on your knees and do what I say. So here's the deal. Black people, you get pimped all the time. For the most part, in many cases, some would argue that our community is, we're like a pack of hoes. We're like a pack of little desperate hoes who've never been validated, who have no self-esteem, who will literally sell our mind, our body, our soul to anybody who rolls up and gives us a cheeseburger. Pimps look for people who have a void. Either your self-esteem is low, or you haven't been validated, or you're not right financially because nobody ever looked out for you. You ain't got no man taking care of you. Well, men who are on the prowl are always looking for the woman who is looking for some support. And so for black people, the reason that you get caught up in what white folks think about you is because nobody ever gave you your self-esteem. Because as soon as you were born, first thing they did was they hand you over to white people and sent you to a white school. And then you're consuming white media, and every day you're looking at media and you're reading these books and they're showing you all these great people that have done things and they all look like white folks, and you buy into that shit. And then you grow up thinking, well, I ain't nothing, I'm a nobody, but they're apparently amazing people. I'm a white supremacist now because I believe George Washington is one of the greatest human beings of all time because that's what I was told in school. Oh, I'm a white supremacist now because I believe that white men are better at business than black men could ever be. I'm a white supremacist now because I believe white people, I believe what I'm seeing on
Fox News that's telling me white families are good and stable and happy and black people are chaotic and ignorant and ridiculous, right? So I'm a white supremacist now. And as a white supremacist, as a black man who happens to be a white supremacist, I want to look to those I admire to tell me that I am somebody. I'm looking for the people that I admire. Think about this. When you seek validation, do you seek validation from people that you don't admire? Or do you seek validation from people that you do admire? Answer my question. Answer me in the chat. We're having a basic conversation, but we're presenting the building blocks for a more complex argument. When you're seeking validation, you tend to seek validation from people that you consider to be superior to you. When you get taught a skill, do you want to be taught by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, or do you want to be taught by someone that you look up to who you believe has more skill than you? The reason that you seek validation from white people is because, unfortunately, you have inherently, consciously and unconsciously, been trained to believe that they are better than you. That's why you'll go give your money to a white businessman and you don't trust the black one. That's why you'll send your kids to the best white school in the community, but when the black school comes along, you're giving them the side eye. You're not sure. You're not sure if that $50 is worth it. But you'll spend 10 grand sending them to White Boy Prep Academy, where they're going to some damn school, learning, some Catholic school, learning how to become Irish Catholics, right? And you don't want nothing to do with Africa. That's why many people, I know many black folks who will go on all kinds of summer vacations to Europe, but don't want to go near Africa because they think Africa is dirty and bad and terrible. That's the post-traumatic slave syndrome, and that is the white supremacy that lives in you. So the solution to white supremacy, honestly, isn't in getting white people to change their behavior. I let white people do that. Like, I saw a pastor who was preaching to white folks and really saying something to them that I actually agreed with. I was like, that's right. You tell your people to sit their ass down and shut the fuck up and stop that bullshit. But that's his job. That ain't my job. My job, I would not want to be in that pastor's seat as a black man trying to improve the conditioning of white America. That's not my issue. That's not my concern. The keys to white supremacy are not in getting white folks to change their behavior. The keys to fighting white supremacy is to get you to change your behavior. So one of the things I want to challenge you to do right now, point blank period, is I want you to consider what I'm saying. You ain't got to agree with it. For some of you, it may be a shock to your system because you're never going to hear this anywhere else. It took me a long time to figure this out, by the way. I used to be one of those like, I can't believe those white people said this about us. He called me a nigga. I'm going to go fight him. He called me a nigga. Now that stuff does not trigger me because I know who the fuck I am. You can call me whatever you want to call me. You can call me whatever you want to call me. It don't matter. I don't answer to names that don't fit the description, right? You can call me Joseph, and I'm not going to turn and look and say, what do you need? Because my name's not Joseph. You can call me Sheila, and I'm not going to hear you. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because my name's not Sheila, right? So you can call me a nigga, and I'm not going to listen because I know I'm not a nigga. Maybe you're talking to yourself. Seriously. So for black people, I'm telling you, control and power is everything, and one thing you got to control is the narrative that you're giving yourselves and giving each other about what it really means to be black and who the hell you are. So let's circle back to go to the little white girl who got the black baby doll. We know the power of the melanin. We know the power of ISIS. We know that we are the original man. We know we've got the DNA that literally dominates every other DNA on the planet. We know how amazing we are. We know where we come from. We know that she should be honored to have a black baby doll in her house. But for whatever reason, she don't want a black baby doll. Maybe she wants a white one. Well, shit. You know what? I know a lot of black kids who would rather have a black baby doll than a white one. So you know, I don't consider that to be bad. I don't consider that to be oppressive. I just consider that to be fucking human nature. You want to see things that look like you. You know, part of the reason your son, some of y'all got little black sons going to public school, ain't paying attention, hate the damn classes, feel like school's a prison. The reason that they hate the school, the reason they hate going to school every day is because every day they're learning from people who don't look like them, and they're learning about people who don't look like them, and they're learning about stories that have nothing to do with them, and they give zero shits about any of that, so they don't want to pay attention. So they may not express it the same way the little white girl did, but the way she expressed it is exactly how I would express it. I'm interested in blackness. I'm interested in being black. So you put something white in front of me or something Asian in front of me, I might bust out crying too. I'll be like, yeah, yeah, right? I'm not gonna cry like a baby like that, but seriously, that's how I feel on the inside. What is this? Get this away from me, right? Seriously, you show me a white business instead of a black business, I'm gonna be like, no, I want a black business. I want a black business. Alicia will tell you, we've done this when we were planning for the wedding, and they'd be like, okay, well, this company makes great wedding cakes, but then there's the black, and I'll be like, no, I want a black one. I want a black wedding cake. No, I want a black baker, right? Seriously, I did exactly what the little, so you know what, girl, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And so what I ask is that, here's the thing, like, she loves who she is. She loves her people. So I would just say, maybe you can love your own instead of worrying about what little white girls think about you, because it does not matter at all. It only matters because it matters to you. So I want to say hello to Vicky. How you doing, Vicky? I was thinking about Vicky this weekend because I know how highly I think of Vicky and how highly I speak of Vicky on a regular basis. I think Vicky's amazing. So Vicky will be live on flynewbeingqueentv.com tomorrow at 6:30. So if you want to see some real black truth, check out Vicky Dillard at flynewbeingqueentv.com. And that's all I want to say. That's it. I'm just going to say that I saw the video. I was not triggered by it. I was not mad. I think that we have to sort of rethink what racism looks like. A lot of what you see in terms of racism is really natural ethnic territorialism. If you go anywhere in the world, if you go to Russia, Russians are they'll fuck with Russians, but they may not fuck with you if you're Chinese, or if you are, if you're Hispanic. If you go to Mexico, like for example in Colombia, I'm in Colombia right now. They know I'm not Colombian, so they're not going to treat me the same as they would treat somebody else from Colombia. They'll take my money, but they don't really necessarily want me here like all the time. They're not sitting around saying, "Oh my gosh, this is great that you're here. You're one of us." So I think that what you got to kind of understand is that part of the reason that you get rejected by other groups of people is because a couple of things. One, you don't know who you are, and you don't really have your power base. You don't really have a place to go to, and I don't think anybody respects that. But then two, most ethnic groups don't like other ethnic groups. That's just the reality. So what I would encourage you to do is to understand that your strength does not lie in begging for validation from other people. Your strength lies in getting validation from your own, community. That's why when you go back to one of the most fundamental things we believe in, which is what we call the Black Core of Three, we believe Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. What that really comes down to is taking care of your own and teaching them who they are at an early age. And if a Black child really knows who they are at an early age, they're not going through the world looking for love in all the wrong places. The people that do that are the people who never had a solid foundation. And a lot of your kids don't have a solid foundation, so that's why we end up becoming just like the prostitute analogy is perfect, because we end up becoming hoes for the Democratic Party because we're looking to be accepted by the Democrats. We become economic hoes because we end up giving all our money away to businesses that don't even respect us because we're looking for validation from them, right? And we become hoes in so many other categories as well. And if you look at it, I mean, the basic idea, the basic fundamental premise is that if you choose to hold yourself out to the highest bidder, it's usually because you don't have anything in your background that's holding you down. You don't go out hoeing when you're secure in terms of who you are. I was talking to a guy who's the father of a great singer by the name of Victory Boyd. Victory Boyd is she signed with Rock Nation. Jay-Z heard her sing, and he just signed her on the spot, and her whole family actually. And I put her on my Facebook page. And this sister is bad, and she's amazing. And I have a bond with her father, John, because I respect strong Black fathers who are guiding their children to success the way he is. And last time I checked, they're out touring with big artists and stuff like that, and they're going to sing at our wedding, by the way. And so anyway, when I was talking to John, I know John's deep in the music industry, and one of the reasons that John introduced me to Victory is because he said I don't want her to let go of who she is, and we actually talked about Lizzo a little bit, and I said, I know you're in the music industry, and I hated to make it seem like I was really attacking somebody, but that wasn't the case. I just feel that as Black people, I think that your talent can be enough. You don't have to engage in the minstrel show, and he said I agree with you 100%. I said, yeah, because I know that because your daughter has a strong Black father, I'll never see her at a Lakers game with her booty out. And he said, oh, hell no, hell no, right? But people who do that are people who don't know who they are, and they're looking for validation, particularly validation from their oppressor. And your oppressor will validate you all day long, the same way a pimp will tell you that you're pretty as long as you suck as you know what. Or he will tell you that he will make you feel loved as long as you're out here on the corner serving him. And the minute you're not serving him no more, he's going to reach back with that pimp hand. He's going to slap the hell out of you, right? So ultimately, that's what white folks do. The white man is your pimp. He's your pimp. Basically, if you serve him, if you are out cooning and engaging in buffoonery and the minstrel show and the self-hate and the ridiculousness that we see, from many of our more prominent Black people that you see on TV, if you engage in the buffoonery, then they'll reward you. They'll shower you with money, shower you with gifts, shower you with praise. But the minute that you step back, or the minute that you go on your own agenda, they'll reach back with the pimp hand and they'll slap the shit out of you. Rick Ross, a good example. Rick Ross is a great example of this. So people thought I was picking on Lizzo, because she's a woman. Well, okay, cool. Let's go to a fat man. Let's go to a man. Let's go to Rick Ross, a poor guy who's probably got significant health problems because of all the lean and all that other stuff. But anyway, Rick Ross, think about this. Rick Ross, was rapping for years about killing Black men, about selling dope, about exploiting Black women, about being disrespectful to the Black community. He was saying all these things that were really celebrating Black genocide, right? And then one day he jumps off script and he says something about date rape, and he makes a joke. He has one verse in one song about date rape, and they reach back and they pull back with the pimp hand and they pimp slap the shit out of him, and he lost his deal with Reebok, and I bet you he'll never put a line like that in a song again. So ultimately, at the end of the day, as Black people, you have to be cautious, because just the same way that you served as the fuel of American economic prosperity for 400 years, you still serve as the fuel, but you basically are signing yourself up to be hoes from the day that you're born. You're not being trained to be empowered. You're being trained to be somebody else's hoe, i.e. something that other people exploit for their own economic and political gain. That's why the Democrats pressure you to vote for them without ever feeling obligated at all to give you any explanation. They're saying, like, shut up, just shut up and do what I say, bitch. That's what they're saying to you, right? That's why white businesses expect you to give you their money, or give them your money, right? Without any sort of respect, any sort of reciprocity, none of that, right? They're like, just shut up and do what you're told, ho, right? Seriously, the list goes on and on. I could point to 1,000 examples where you're performing the service and receiving very little in return. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there is a way to get out of that thinking, and it starts with self-esteem. Part of the reason that you sign up for hoism is because you were never given your self-esteem at an early age. Many of you were never taught anything good about being Black. You were never taught anything good about being you. You were never taught anything good about being anything other than a white supremacist. You were trained to believe that committing to white supremacy was your pathway to success, and that has left you busted, broken, defeated, and mad, and all these other things that come with the fact that you just don't know who you are. So find out who you are, validate yourself, and when you validate yourself, you won't need other people to validate you. So when you see a little white girl crying because the baby was Black and she wanted a white baby, you won't care about it. You'll say, well, just give a little girl a white baby. It won't matter to you. Okay, guys, so I gotta go. Alicia's coming in here. Is it time to go?
We are all hungry.
Okay, it is time to go. Everybody's hungry. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll keep checking in with you guys from Colombia. And please hit the thumbs up button. And also, if you want to support the platform, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Peace.